Hey everybody, welcome to Free Press Sports with Carlos and Shawn. Wait a second. That's not Carlos. That's Jeff Seidel. Welcome to, you're a little bit better looking.
I was going to say, what an upgrade.
Yeah, it is an upgrade. A little less
Better
hair,
hair.
a little less hair. I'm not going to say anything about the hair. Anyway, Jeff, fabulous columnist with the Free Press. I am an okay columnist with the Free Press.
And it's late.
And it's late, and we're tired, but not too tired. Oh, look, tonight was the beginning of something folks around here have been waiting for 8 months at least, Jeff. The Lions take on the Los Angeles Rams. Last time we saw this game, the first was a wild card game, actually, back here in January at Ford Field. The Lions won that game too. They went here in their opener in overtime, 26-0. Start the season out 1-0. I think you wrote a little bit about just the scene, the anticipation, the noise. This was really, really loud for a regular football game here.
The hype was incredible. Yeah, actually, where we park, I walked all the way to the park, or to the stadium. People were going crazy. The tailgates were nuts. People were joyful. And this place was rocking. I mean, it was as loud as any game last year. And the excitement was incredible. And they jump out to this amazing lead. And then, oh yeah, Matthew Stafford's on the other side.
And he does his thing, right? I think they were up 17-3 at one point, and they got LA into a 3rd and 13. And I remember thinking, if they can get off the field here, and they were kind of rolling offensively. Jameson Williams had just had the 52-yard touchdown bomb, and they were starting to find the rhythm. They struggled a little bit, I thought, with the rhythm, with the run-pass ratio. They're trying to figure that out. But anyway, at that point, they get off the field, they get it, they score again. That's essentially the game, but it just wasn't going to go that way.
It seemed like they kept making penalties that were really hurting them. Several players in the locker room after the game talked about, we knew this wasn't going to be our best game. And they were saying, we knew we were going to struggle a little bit. A lot of these guys didn't play a lot. A lot of the Rams didn't play a lot. They didn't even have tape on, some of the linemen were talking about they didn't have tape on the Rams defensive linemen. So they were going in blind. It wasn't pretty. They made mistakes. But it was gritty at the end, where David Montgomery just bulldozed his way into the end zone.
Absolutely. The line said, oh, hey, the best part of our team is our offensive line. We're tired of playing around. They had a solid drive their last drive in regulation, led to a field goal that tied the game up to get it in overtime at 20, obviously. But, yeah, I just thought, okay, Dan Campbell, Ben Johnson, let's line it up. Let's give it to our most physical back. And, boom, he's off. I think, actually, the drive started with an end around to Khalif Raymond. And then Montgomery's, 22, 21 yards, and then 9 more yards. And the way he was running, he was getting hit and then getting more yards after he was getting hit. That was really impressive. And he was doing that, Jeff. The crowd was kind of rising with that physicality.
And the ending was amazing, but the game itself showed so many other things. Jameson Williams looked amazing, slicing through the middle of the field, catching a long bomb. A rookie kicker ties the game at the end of regulation. Talk to him a little bit at the end of the game.
Mr. Jake Bates.
Mr. Jake Bates.
It's got a big leg, but we weren't quite sure about.
And he's kicked in this stadium before.
Yeah.
He goes, never quite this loud.
Yeah, right. Probably not in front of that many people either.
No. So I thought there were a lot of good things, a heck of a lot of things they can improve upon. But they came out with a win. And at this stage, when you're fighting for home field advantage, all these wins are going to add up.
No, absolutely. And we talk about this all the time. It's a cliche, Jeff, but the margin in the NFL in general, the margin for error, the margin of victory, the difference between win and loss. And so we saw opening night last Thursday, Kansas City, Baltimore's there. They lose the game by the length of a big toe, basically, right?
Yeah.
When a receiver just steps out of the back of the end zone. We see that week in and week out. So to find it, and they're going to have to find their ways to win a few more of these. They've got a much harder schedule than they did a year ago, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, and I mentioned this too. What I wrote, there's a lot more tape on them now. The teams around the league want a piece of them. I mean, they're still a great underdog story to us and the people around here, but to the rest of the league, like, no, they got some swagger. We want to go knock that down a peg. So it's going to be more challenging.
One of the most interesting things I found at the very end, walking around the locker room, talking to a whole bunch of different guys, they all had the same theme. They said, and they were not patronizing. Graham Glasgow actually said, I'm not being patronizing when I say this. He goes, that was a really good team we just played. And he goes, we did not play our best, and we need to get better. And There was not jubilance. It was not this
Right.
crazy vibe that you felt in the stadium. These guys went, we just won a game. Maybe we could have lost, and we got to get better. And that seems like a healthy place to start.
Absolutely. Jared Goff said the same in his post-game press
Mm.
conference, in the same, obviously the same podium where Dan Campbell spoke, and Jameson Williams kind of hinted that a little bit. Dave Montgomery, who came in there, is not in there that all that often, right? He said the same things. They weren't bragging. They weren't dismissing the Rams. The theme was the same. That is a good team. There were some folks that are picking the Rams to win their division. You know what I mean? So I happen to be one of them. I could be completely wrong, but that is a good team.
And the other thing we saw tonight was a brand new secondary that at times was knocking the ball away, at times got burned, a couple times missed a tackle that gave up a big run or big receiving run. But they held Stafford to 3 points in the first half. It's not bad.
No,
their red zone D was pretty good early.
It was. They were opportunistic in a way. Stafford ended up having really good numbers like he often does, 300-plus yards. His percentage was really good. He did throw a pick in the end zone. Kirby Joseph kind of was not ducking, but he was down behind
Playing instinctual.
and I don't know that Stafford saw him, and he reached out, made a really nice pick. But Terry and Arnold, well, first of all, Carlton Davis looks like he's just going to be nice and solid. Terry and Arnold looks like he might be a serious player. And maybe not that far in the future, right?
And
he's a little handsy, though. He's going to have to figure that out.
And after the game, he actually talked about it. He goes, the PIs is not me. He goes, I have to get better. He had that same kind of attitude.
Yeah, and college is a little bit different. Sometimes it's more about the technical skill in the NFL, and because the skill level is just so high. Even in some of the teams that struggle in the league, they still have guys that can burn you and beat. So it's a challenge every Sunday, or Thursday, or Monday, and I think we get some Monday views. But Monday games. But Terry and Arnold, I thought looked really good and really promising. Brian Branch in his role at safety. Missed a couple of tackles early, a couple of tough angles, dropped an interception. He also had a gorgeous dive where he batted a pass down. I don't know about you, Jeff. He was in the right, and on the long play by, was it Tyler Johnson on the 62-yard? He had sort of a bad angle on that could have gotten Carlton Davis outrawn that play too, or overran that play rather. But I don't know. I thought Branch was in the right spot.
Yeah.
All night long.
And another one on Alex Anzalone, who finished with 13 tackles and set the tone early in the game when he came out and just hammered somebody.
Behind the line of scrimmage or right at the line of scrimmage. No, Anzalone's, it's really turned into a really good linebacker.
Had a lot of pressure. He had a horrible roughing the passer, which actually
he did
flip the field.
It did. He went a little bit too low. I don't know if he didn't see that Stafford had already released the ball when he tackled him. But lots of stuff to work on. But I think Branch is going to be pretty good at safety because he's where he needs to be. He can clean a few things up. But again, he's a young player and
he's really instinctual.
And remember too, some of these guys missed time. Gibbs missed some time at training camp. Branch missed time at training camp. Malifonwu didn't play tonight. He's still banged up. DJ Reader, who's they brought in to help to plop next to Lee McNeil in the middle of that defensive line to stop the run. He didn't play tonight. Levi Onwuzurike, who's dealt with all these back issues, has a sack early in the game that stopped the drive, maybe forced a field goal, if I'm not mistaken, on that drive. So there was, some good stuff, but lots to clean up. And in a win, you'll take it, right?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. 1-0. So we got Tampa, Jeff, here, Ford Field. Next week, I think it's a 1:00 kick.
Praise Jesus.
It's good for us, but you know what? I know y'all like the later kicks. There are a lot of evening. There are a lot of 4:00 kicks. This is what happens when there are expectations. When you become everybody's Super Bowl pick, the darlings of the NFL. This is what goes on. But anyway, for Jeff Seidel, Shawn Windsor, check out freepress.com for all the coverage. For the great Dave Burkett, for Carlos Menares. We will be writing all week long about this team, and we will be back here next Sunday at Ford Field to bring you news after the next game. Thanks.